Daytime with Aston Avery, and talking about pride in this hour of daytime today. Next guest is what you call a gay icon, one of the original Blitz kids, having partied and been friends with likes of Boy George, Steve Strange, David Bowie, even starred alongside Gene Wilder in the Hollywood film Haunted Honeymoon there. That's actress, comedian and singer Eve Ferret joins Stephen and I right now. So Eve, pleasure to have you on.
Happy Pride!
Hello, darling. I'm thrilled. Thank God. When I got through and I heard relaxing music, I thought relaxing. When I was trying to log on, they said press this button for Houston, Texas. And I was going, Houston, Texas? No, I only want to be down the road in Thurrock.
Thurrock, yes, Thurrock. Right in the Essex area.
Darling, huge happy Pride to you. You're someone that's been around on the LGBTQ scene for forever, it feels like, because you're just amazing. Why do you think the community has embraced you so much?
Well, we're just like-minded. We found our tribe years ago, and we love the same music, we love the same films, we love, it's more to do with who we are than our sexuality, I have to say. I don't want to be controversial, but I don't meet people because of what sex they are. I meet them because they're lovely.
Yeah, and Eve does the most incredible concerts. They're just a camp fest. I must take your mum along. She would absolutely love it.
She probably would, to be fair. And that being said, here, Eve, as well, you grew up in London and Pimlico, and imagine a traditional upbringing when you have become aware of gay people and find yourself in clubs, not just like the Blitz, but Heaven and Bangs as well, I see.
Yes, but well, I suppose I was thinking about this, and it's 50 years ago since the third Pride March, and not that I couldn't remember such a thing, but it would be around that time, because obviously the Stonewall thing was all over the news in '69 when I was a bit younger, much younger, one. But in '72, I started work as a receptionist in the King's Road, the far end, down by Sex, and where all the punks shop. But this is in '72. So I was a receptionist and fell in love with one of the hairdressers there. Not really sort of like taking any notice about gay or anything, really. I just sort of thought, oh, he's marvellous. We're having such a laugh. I love him. And I mentioned it to my mum. I said, I love this man, but he's just said to me he's gay. And she said, yeah, well, some people just like the same sex. It was just very matter of fact, very sort of like not a big drama. And it wasn't for me. And of course, at that time, pre-Blitz, any of the things that you're saying, the Rocky Horror Show was on in '73 down the end of King's Road. And of course, everybody was walking up down. Everyone was walking up and down. People forget this. They think it's like a now thing. Everyone was walking up and down the King's Road in suspenders and corsets.
Yes.
So I actually sort of like, I thought it was marvellous, because I have always wanted to be Miss Kitty in Gunsmoke, which is a Western, right? A Western from the '60s. And a saloon girl. And for me, the Rocky Horror Show, the way they were dressed, was like the saloon girls. They would come out, the saloon girls, in their corsets and their tights, or do a show. I mean, even years ago, in all the musicals, you'd have Rita Hayworth, Lana Turner, everyone coming out in corsets and tights. So I've always kind of loved that look.
Yeah,
and,
it's amazing.
So, anyway, I don't know what the question was.
You're right. That I remember the Rocky Horror Show being on the King's Road. And going to see it. My dad actually took me to see it, and I think I was only 14. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it. It was great. The downside of things is, if you're part of the LGBT community, even an ally of mixing, etc. I know you're married to the lovely Mark and you have a son, but have you come across homophobia or bad reactions towards you? mixing.
Oh, always. Well, you see, the thing is, I always, from a very young age, to be ridiculed for the way one looks. Not that I'm going to start crying right now. Ridiculed for the way one looks, and because of the way I naturally look, which is like nobody from now, well, especially in the 70s, I found myself in a painting in the Tate Britain. I thought, oh, there I am, from the 1800s, not from the 1900s. I just didn't look like the women of the day. Yeah. And therefore, everyone assumed that I was. I have had screams shouted at me, as if I was a man. Why are you dressed in drag? I thought, I'm not in drag. This is me. Do you know what I mean? It was sort of like a very weird thing. I did make, when I say thing, it's very weird because you don't have to, if you look like, it's a question of how you look sometimes. If you look like me, people are screaming across the road. I mean, I had a woman in Manchester years ago. She put her cigarette out on my back, and I turned because of the way I looked, and it wasn't particularly peculiar. Well, I didn't think so. And I turned around and I looked at that little willy thing at the back of your throat. That thing, that the epiglottis or whatever it is. Yeah. And she went, "Hey, you bloody big tits! Who do you think you are, standing in the middle of the wine bar with your tits hanging out?" Now this is in the 70s. Oh. I ran, and I've at the time, later on in life, in '76, I was lucky enough to meet a wonderful man called James Biddlecombe, and we had a cabaret act together. And whenever we were in a group, we would literally run down the streets with screams of abuse from every corner. And as soon as we arrived at wherever we did, we shut the door and we go, we're in, we're safe. Oh my God. I think we've come a long way, but we have to be very, very careful because I feel we're going back.
Yeah, I do. I'm worried that some of the PR is not clever places, but that'll be another program. You're so right, Eve. I could totally agree with you there.
So but I thought at a gay pride a few years back, I was in my little kitchen and I heard on the TV talking, and I ran out of my kitchen and I looked on the TV and I saw a man break rank as a policeman, and he broke rank and went over to the barrier and asked a man to marry him. That to me was a pivotal moment in my personal life, and I thought world life, because I thought it's okay now. We've fought all these years, it's okay.
That's a beautiful moment.
But then since that moment, I feel we've gone backwards. And I think what's happening? I'm unsteady. I feel we have to stand strong.
So right. We have to move on now, and I know Aston's dying to ask you.
Sorry about this, Eve, but obviously David Bowie, one of the biggest names in the music industry in his time as well, I have to say. So what was it like meeting David Bowie himself?
Oh, it was marvellous because from my point of view, I didn't fancy him because I thought he's too thin to hug. But so therefore, when they said Bowie's coming, I met him before I did the film Absolute Beginners in he won an award for it, Jazz in for Blue Jean, a half-hour short, and I would played the receptionist at the cinema that he was arriving at. And so we had this whole couple of hours beforehand waiting for the cameras, as you do, and he arrived on set and he went, Ferret, this is his opening gambit to me was, Ferret, what kind of, why did you choose that as a name? I said, it is my name. But my opening lines to him was, oh, you haven't got a brown eye at all. You've got a big pupil. I mean, what? This was before Instagram and Twitter, and you just read in the papers about him, and all I'd ever read, he's got one blue eye, one brown eye, which I was excited to see, but it wasn't true.
Oh, God.
It was marvellous.
Darling, listen, you've made quite a few movies, but how did you come to star in Haunted Honeymoon with Gene Wilder?
I phoned up in the days when you could, I phoned up the casting director, Debbie McWilliams, and said to her, I hope that's her name, it might not be, that's why I've never worked again. And I'm joking. I phoned up her one boring day in London and said, "Hi, you don't know me. I would any chance of being in a Bond film, James Bond film?" And I said, "Not as the beauty, as a person that comes in and biffs people up, wrestles them to the ground, and it's the baddie." And she said, "No, sorry, if you're not right. I know exactly who you are, but I would like you to meet someone tomorrow." And I said, "Oh, all right, who?" She said, "Gene Wilder." And for a film, I thought, "Oh my God, how can I lose a stone in a day? I'll have to cut my head off." Anyway, I went to meet him, and the following day, and he said, "I think you'll be perfect for the job." It was surreal, actually. I think that's how, if you leave gaps in your life for magic to happen, it can happen.
Yeah, you're so right. If you go out and find it yourself, because sometimes happens, doesn't it? Rather than sitting at home waiting for it.
So there, Eve, as well. You worked with our guest who we've had on earlier today, Denise Welch, before, and you are friends with her. How did you first meet her in that front there?
She walked into a rehearsal room for Yakety Yak, that was a Lieber and Sola musical at the Astoria, Charing Cross Road, which has now been knocked down. That's how long it is, knocked down, and a new railway line built. But anyway, she walked in, and I just took one look at her and I thought, wow, she looks like a laugh. And believe you me, she is. And I was lucky to, I met her dad. I heard you earlier, which is why I was fiddling around trying to get on, because I was listening to you instead of working out how to get on to speak to you. I was lucky to meet her mum and her dad and her sister, and they are an absolutely fabulous family. And it was very sad that both of her parents have left, but what a legacy of life they lived. They had so much life to give. It was marvelous to have met them.
And Eve very kindly came up and sang at Vin's funeral, which was the campus funeral I've ever been to. She was amazing. It was amazing.
It was incredible. So lovely to see. And also, I love I love Lincoln, which people won't know, her partner's paintings. Yeah. But I genuinely do. Like when people go, "Oh yeah, nice paintings," like that. But I genuinely really love them. So a couple of times I've been lucky. I was lucky to be invited along to his shows at the National Portrait Gallery, and I just thought, wow, these are extraordinary. Yeah. It's wonderful to see two people getting on.
Going back to safety of LGBTQ people, do you think London's safer now than it was in the 80s for you to go out and be you?
Well, in terms of decades, because you remember that I was going to a place called a Global Village before, which was the precursor to Heaven and to things. So the 70s that was dangerous. It was the 80s that we collectively became free. Yeah. I felt, and I thought, oh my God, this is it. And then, the terrible AIDS epidemic arrived. For me, it started with all my dear friends in 82. People always, the dates are always weird with people. They talk about 85, but actually the first that I knew was 82. And the closing down happened massively. Then I thought that there was a moment in the early 90s. And I think that maybe the pandemic, I thought, was going to unite us. I don't think it has. I think it's made it more scary. I think people have become, I thought, it's all going to be a love fest when we come out. But instead, I'm worried that we are going to turn on each other or something. I don't know. I can see anger in people. They won't just let live. They don't. It feels really odd.
I've been writing for the last 2 years in columns, please box clever, because some things have been pushed to the forefront that's not going to be great for the LGBT community. And it is a slight worry. As we're seeing, there are more homophobic attacks are actually up, which is quite... Anyway.
So that being said here, there, Eve, when are you performing next and what are your plans for the rest of 2022?
Well, I'm the most excited woman in the whole entire world because I've been invited to, and I was talking about it yesterday, I've been invited to compare the next alternative Miss World at the Shakespeare Globe Theatre on the 28th of October. I have to think of my outfit. The theme is gold. Gold!
Always believe in your soul.
Did you see the Globe Theatre?
It's going to be at the Globe Theatre.
But it's open. It might rain in October.
No, this is true. But it might as well rain until September. No, it might rain, but then I don't know what we'll do. We'll have to get an umbrella out, won't we?
Yeah.
But the October the 28th, so I'm excited about that. And I've pushed I'm back at the Crazy Coqs, but not until the end of November. I might November the 29th. The tickets aren't on sale yet, but I like to, as I said earlier, leave space for magic. Last night I went to I was asked to be a Q&A for a film I did called Billy the Kid and the Green Bay's Vampire.
Yes, I saw that.
At Leicester Square. And the thing is, I thought, now if I'd have booked myself up to do this, that and the other, I would have missed it. And so sometimes you have to take a moment to breathe and let, super joy come in.
Yeah.
Now, that being said here, Eve, it's a pleasure to have you on Gateway 97.8 today to chat about Pride as well.
Thank you so much, as always. You were great.
I hope we've never met, and hopefully we will. But I hope I haven't made your ears bleed with chatting so much.
Oh, we're loving it.
No, you haven't. Don't worry.
I'm campaigning to have Eve a regular in EastEnders. I think she'd be brilliant. She'd really give it what it needs.
Go for it.
Stephen,
thank you.
See you.
Lots
Bye,
of love.
Aston. Have
Bye.
a time.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.